Howdy, howdy. Welcome to another wonderful trash take. Today, I'm going to be going over JD Vance. He had a recently segment on the Charlie Kirk show where he sat down and talked about Charlie Kirk and what he believes is wrong with America. I saw a segment of it already. I liked it. It wasn't as good as I wanted, though. I want to see action from leadership, but I also want to see what JD Vance has to say. So I found what looks like the full clip. It's about 13 minutes long. And I want to sit here and see what it says. I know Twitter's already erupting because Vance basically says most of the right wing or most of the extremism that's coming out right now is left wing lunatics. And I believe the people on the left are citing some ADL study that actually does lie by omission. They purposely leave out certain data points in their statistic, and they consider all gang violence in prison to be right wing, even if it's like a radical leftist group that does it. There's glaring holes in it. I'm not here to debate that. I just want to see what Vance says. But you'll notice that he is introduced as a longtime friend of Charlie Kirk, not the vice president, longtime friend. I think I saw something about Twitter about how they met, but I'm sure Vance will talk about it. So let's go.
Shortly after Usha and I left Charlie's family and Charlie's remains in Arizona, I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros' Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does...
Oh shit, he's calling out Soros specifically. I want to say Trump said he was going to try to bring Soros up on RICO charges for basically using his money as power over politicians, which I'd be curious to see if anything actually comes of it. But it's a lot of talk until something happens. And he's an old man, and he's only getting older.
Does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously."
Oh.
But if you go and watch the clip...
Yeah, that's a lie. So funny enough, I was actually considering making a video about this because I saw it trending earlier. There's some stupid-ass journalist that completely misquoted Charlie Kirk to make him seem extremely racist when he's talking about 4 specific people. And she's quoted as black women opposed to the 4 women that he says.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist.
Yeah, if you're saying someone is only got hired because of the color of their skin, yeah, but now people openly were saying that.
They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut.
See, I disagree with the white person slot part, but more than likely the implication of a white person would have been hired because they were more qualified, I assume. I don't really want to dig into the nitty-gritty, but she directly quoted Kirk here, and she misquoted him, and she was fired for that. Here's her talking about it on Twitter. My direct reference to Kirk was one post, his words on record, black women. He didn't say black women. He said specifically 4 black women, and there's a difference. Your implication to saying black women is all black women in America. That's the clear implication here. And that makes him seem highly fucking racist. He was not racist. Yes, there's an out of context, multiple out of context clips, in fact, of him saying Civil Rights Act was a mistake. He doesn't say because it made black people equal. He says because Democrats have weaponized the fuck out of it for affirmative action, for putting women in the men's bathroom, and for stopping, basically not allowing voter ID laws or common sense voter ID laws, because Democrats say that this will disproportionately affect black people because they're too stupid to get driver's license. And those are their arguments of why we shouldn't have voter ID laws, saying that black people are too stupid. Those are what Democrats are saying in the court of law. And that's why Kirk said he didn't believe in affirmative action. That's why he said the Civil Rights Act is currently being misused. He believes it's a good thing that black people are equal because he believed everyone stood a fair chance. Everyone's equal in the eyes of the Lord. He's a man of faith. And people purposely misquote him because they're fucking monsters. They do it intentionally and it's annoying as shit. Back to Vance.
The very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. Yes. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Yes. This is how I live my life too. Judge people by the content of the character, not the color of their skin. America's not going to get better if we're all calling everyone racist. I know CNN tried to do the same thing, saying Kirk's racist for pointing out the homeless man that murdered the Ukrainian refugee on the train. The dude uttered, I got that white girl, and then said she called me the N-word as a justification for murdering her. And this is very important. Kirk reported that because you could hear it in the video. And CNN, some fucking retarded news anchor on there, said that Kirk was trying to start a race war and randomly made this about race. No, he doesn't make it about race. He points at the people that are making it about race and makes fun of them for it because they don't realize it's a double standard. They're so happy about DEI because it helps them, but then them saying they only got here because of their DEI ability or because of DEI says they're stupid and that they wouldn't have got it by their own metrics, and the only reason they got it is because of a societal elevation based on color of their skin, which is directly racist. This is such a mischaracterized thing of Charlie Kirk, and it's spammed by leftists right now who want to purposely discredit him after he's fucking died, and it's ridiculous. Find a reason to actually hate the guy. Don't find a half-quoted tweet where he directly confronts it, and it's just basically a full lie when it's in context.
The very evidence she provides, this hack of a writer, shows that she lied about a dead man, and yet she wrote it. An esteemed magazine
and then
published
said, I don't know why I got fired.
It made it through the editors, and of course, liberal billionaires rewarded that attack.
Yes, because they it's like a propaganda. It's an entire institute that's been infiltrated by these long march far leftist radicals. That's what this is. They've been completely taken over, and you have money that's being funded by billionaires giving them money to write this ilk. What their goal is, besides the subversion of America, I genuinely don't know.
Now, of course, even if Charlie had uttered those words, it wouldn't mean that he deserved his fate, but consider the level of propaganda at work. Charlie would...
Yes, if Charlie said black women are less than white women, I'd be like, holy shit, he's a radical, he's a far-right extremist. I still wouldn't say he deserved to be fucking murdered. He can be batshit crazy. We tolerate Hassan Piker, a far-left radical extremist, and that's my peak example every single time. I don't want him dead. I don't want him dead. No way, shape, or form do I want Hassan dead. I want him to be found in the realm of the free market of ideas and to be shown to be mentally inferior. That's what I want. I want the idea to be challenged and to be challenged until it can't be challenged anymore. And that's what Kirk did. He challenged people. They would bring false quotes and he'd basically make them look like a fucking fool on college campuses. This is why the left hate him. He would fact check them every fucking time because he was an intelligent man who could actually remember most of what he said and could accurately call out people that are lying or misquoting him. And the second he died, all the lies and all the misquotes came flooding out.
Was gunned down in broad daylight.
Assassinated.
And well-funded institutions of the left lied about what he said so as to justify his murder.
Yes, it was intimidation.
This is soulless and evil.
Yes.
But I was struck not just by the dishonesty of this smear, but by the glee over a young husband's and young father's death. Quote, she says, he was an unrepentant racist, transphobe, homophobe, and misogynist. The Nation wrote, who often wrapped his bigotry in Bible verses because there was no other way to pretend that it was morally correct.
Holy shit. Yeah, these people are fucking retarded.
He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said. He had children, as do many vile people.
Bro, I didn't read the full article. That's fucking crazy. I don't read a lot of these leftist news sources because I consider them so biased and retarded that I will lose brain cells and waste seconds off my life that I would rather not lose. Because I know they're not coming from a place of actual genuine topic of discussion. They're coming from a place of pure fucking propaganda, and they have a message they want to spread, and they want you to sit there and listen. They don't want you to challenge them. They're going to make shit up all day long, and you can try and fact check them, but you're going to start drowning in the fact checks because they will lie after lie after lie. There's a very famous quote I like now. Leftists lie about everything all the time. That is entirely true. You call them out on one lie, it's another lie. And they won't acknowledge any lies. They'll just keep moving the goalposts. They'll just keep telling new lies on top of it. And then they'll start citing other people who were lying as source for their lie. So they're lying 3, 4, 5 iterations now off an original lie without fact-checking any of it. Like, we live in the modern age, bro. Fucking slam it into ChatGPT. You'll at least find some biased news source, but you could probably find a link to the original source and check it yourself. And that's what people need to do.
Now, hours before this smear was published, my wife and I had the honor of escorting Charlie's body back to his home in Arizona.
I understand where Vance is coming from now. He just put a friend in the ground, and the first thing he sees is some leftist news org is completely being brain fucking rotted out of the wazoo, and he's pissed, and understandably so.
We took his wife, Erica, we love you, his parents, his sister, and a few of his best friends with us. And as they offloaded Charlie's casket from Air Force Two, I worried that Erica would collapse with grief. Now, I'm a very lucky husband to a very wonderful wife, but I have never been prouder of my wife than that moment as she held Erica in Erica's very darkest hour.
Yes.
And I thought of Erica as I read that
guys.
disgusting attack on Charlie. He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said about him.
You know who else? You know who else drank water? Adolf Hitler. Yeah, that's literally, like, the arguments people make now are so fucking asinine and retarded. It's not worth engaging with 90% of the time. And I have leftists in the comments of my videos too, and I'll try and have a good faith argument, but I can tell really quickly based on what they're saying whether or not it's going to go anywhere. And I just either disengage or I block them. And I'm at the point to where a lot of these people, they don't want to have a conversation, and it's very clear they're just a fucking either retard or troll or both, and I don't want to. I'm not going to deal with it.
I said the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I asked Usha.
And then Kash Patel said, I'll see you in Valhalla, brother.
What Erica had said to her earlier in the day in a private moment, and I asked Erica's permission to share this. My wife told me, she asked me,
I'm sorry.
For advice. Erica asked me for advice on how she should tell her children that their father had been murdered. She asked my wife how to tell her beautiful kids that their father and my dear, very dear friend is no longer with us.
That's rough.
And as she was doing it,
I would never put that upon my worst enemy. That is terrifying to have to think that one day your spouse is going to die and you have to tell your young child who was there and saw it what actually happened. That would eat me up inside. I don't know.
There were people dancing on that father's grave.
Yes.
Now
She's going to grow up seeing clips from this and all the people cheering at her husband's death or her dad's death. And she's going to be more radical than Nick Fuentes, bro. Like, it's going to get bad.
Heard many calls in the last few days for unity and for healing in the wake of Charlie's assassination.
Yes, and I also see leftists completely ignoring that half their fucking voter base is rabid at the mouth cheering. I see people like Shoe on Head calling it out, and I'm glad to see it. I see people like Kirk, Hassan's uncle, he's calling it out too, surprisingly. I considered him a radical, but yeah, the Young Turks guy, but he's been pretty reasonable here saying, yes, this is fucking horrifyingly unacceptable. There are people who are still reasonable out there. The people that are saying no political violence and the people who are calling out the rabid leftists, I'd say are the common sense individuals right now. The ones saying no political violence, you're at a good start. I'm not going to cancel you if you're not calling out the radical leftists. But if you're ignoring what you're seeing on social media, but you're willing to say no political violence, it feels like it's more of a virtue signal, personally. But I digress.
I have no idea how desperately I want that, how gratified I was when Democratic friends and even former Senate colleagues reached out to offer their condolences to me. I'm so thankful. And I know there are so many like them all across our great country.
Good people.
I am desperate to wrap my arms around them as we all unite to condemn political violence and the ideas that cause it. Psalm 133 tells us, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Okay, this is the photo. Y'all can't see it. I'm going to move myself. The first time I ever heard of Charlie Kirk was this photo, and it was one of my friends telling me this motherfucker wears earbuds to football games opposed to getting hearing damage like a man. And I was like, what? And this was the first time I'd actually heard of him. I knew he was some political debater, but I'd never actually seen any of his clips or anything. And I was like, what the fuck? So this is the first time I Googled him was because of this photo. Because I was like, who the fuck is wearing earbuds to a football game? I just thought it was funny, but I can't believe he actually showed this photo. This was literally the first photo I saw of Charlie Kirk this is the first time I actually investigated Charlie Kirk was based off this, because I was like, is this real? I just assumed it was Photoshopped.
It is like the precious ointment upon the head. Oh, how badly have I craved that precious ointment in recent days, and I believe we can have it. But first, we must tell the truth. It's the only way to honor Charlie, for what was he, if not a man who told the truth in every place, in every environment? Now, the most important truth Charlie told is this, that long ago a man, begotten, not made, came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate and suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day.
He was a religious man, yeah. Kirk was an extremely religious man. I've gone over this before, but that's where his radical stance, I say radical, that's where his most extreme stance was, and it was on abortion mainly. He believed that everyone is equal. There's no difference between a child conceived under sexual assault or molestation or rape, as there is one conceived under love, essentially. He said all children was equal, and it came from his faith. That was his most radical stance I could find.
Charlie believed, as I do, that all the truth he told flowed from that fundamental principle. I really do believe that we can come together in this country. I believe we must. But unity...
Yes. It's funny. You have people that are preaching unity right now, and you have leftists that are pumping out fake news articles on why you should be cheering for Charlie Kirk to die. It is vile, it is morally reprehensible, and it's intentional. This isn't accidental. This does not happen accidentally. There's so many misquoted, out of context shit that's going around. This doesn't happen accidentally. It's being organized.
Real unity
being done
can be found only after climbing
crazy.
The mountain of truth. And there are difficult truths we must confront in our country. One truth is that 24% of self-described, quote, very liberals believe it is acceptable to be happy about the death of a political opponent, while only 3% of self-described very conservatives agree. 3% is too many, of course. Another truth.
Yes, he's showing the inequality of what's currently happening with the political violence. There was a Fox News one that actually said it was like, it broke it down by generations, and it said older generations, it was like 90% believe no political violence, and the youngest generation was like 50% said no political violence. You have 10% that's saying it's good, and the older generations versus 50% that are demanding it now. And you wonder why it's getting as bad. You have kids that are being indoctrinated and not being taught any critical thinking skills, and it's because the school system's been taken over by radical leftists who slowly and surely inject their ideology into the next generation.
Is that 26% of young liberals believe political violence is sometimes justified, and only 7% of young conservatives say the same. Again, too high a number.
Okay, I don't know the specific study that he's quoting. The one I saw was on Fox, but it was basically just the newer generation. It didn't break it down by groups, but maybe Fox had more information on it.
In a country of 330 million people, you can, of course, find one person of a given political persuasion justifying this or that or almost anything.
That's
but
not
the
absurd
data
part.
Is
the absurd part is there being a tweet calling Charlie Kirk a youth Hitler organizer that has over 500,000 tweets, has over 500,000 likes. That's the crazy part.
clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be taught.
Yes. Republicans are dragged constantly by mainstream media and absolutely annihilated when they should be. Leftists get a free fucking pass every time. This is what's happening abroad. That's why cancel culture is coming back so strong, because these leftists are so emboldened to say the most crazy shit and cheer for a dead man with their publicly available profile information, with their full first name, their date of birth, where they work, all that information listed, because they had been users of cancel culture and had gone unchecked for all the radical, crazy, batshit stuff they said for so long, while people on the right were saying men can't get pregnant and getting canceled for that. There's a complete difference to what's happening here. There are some people who have gone absolutely feral, and the news has not done a single fucking thing to call them out until now. Now are getting fact-checked at every facet in society, and they should be. This is radical behavior. This is not normal. This is not good for the fabric of society. This is going to hurt America unless it's fixed. And I do agree, the majority of it right now is coming from the left radical, from the radical leftists in news and in this country.
Told. That problem has terrible consequences. The leader of our party, Donald J. Trump, escaped an assassin's bullet by less than an inch. Our House Majority Leader.
And then Gavin Newsom, 2 months later, makes an AI photo of him holding Heinz ketchup, like, after the shooting in the same pose. Like, bro, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Stephen Scalise came within seconds of death by an assassin himself. And now, the most influential conservative activist in generations, our friend Charlie, has been murdered. This violence, it doesn't come from nowhere. Now,
and I think, in fact, today, 2 people in Utah, I don't know if it was the same area, I think it might have been, there was a Fox News van that 2 terrorists had put an IED under and tried to blow up, but it fizzled out and didn't go off, and they've been arrested and taken in custody by the FBI. That's another act of terrorism, and it was against a Fox News van too. I wonder who they are. I wonder what their ideology is. It's probably some radical fucking extremism of the leftist variety.
Now, any political movement, violent or not violent, is a collection of forces. It's like a pyramid that stacks on top, one support on top of the other. That pyramid's got a foundation of donors, of activists, of journalists, now of social media influencers, and of course of politicians.
Violence, yes.
Not every member of that pyramid would commit a murder. In fact, over 99% I'm sure would not.
Yeah, it's like the crazy video I made about the lady calling for Charlie Kirk's entire family to be dead, where she's like, I want him dead. I don't want to do it, guys. I got too much to lose. Y'all can do it. Please, someone do it. It's the same shit. These people are openly calling it, trying to find the next radical person to kill, and that's what they want, and they want it to happen faster, so they're all spamming the same messages to radicalize someone. They're hoping they can find some idiot who's not going to fact check it and think this world has no hope anymore and wants to go out guns blazing. That is why they're doing it.
But by celebrating that murder, apologizing for it, and emphasizing not Charlie's innocence, but the fact that he said things some didn't like, even to the point of lying about what he actually said, many of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen.
Yes.
A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California, and since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone.
I wonder if this is the one where they're taking pictures of him, making fun of him on Twitter.
But there was a loud and very cool minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity.
Yeah. This is something the leftists have been doing for a while now, and it started in 2016, and there's a few videos of some crazy people also yelling at children after they're leaving a MAGA rally in 2024 before Trump won the election. Y'all remember the kid with the Make America Great Again hat staring at the Native American? Not saying anything, just standing there peacefully. He got like a $500 million plus lawsuit from CNN because they called him racist, they doxed him, they made bomb threats against him, they threatened to kill him. All he did was stand there, didn't say a single fucking thing. And they dragged him and tried to destroy him before he even had a chance at life. And he sued CNN and he fucking won. It might not have been CNN, it might have been a different news network. I want to say it was CNN, and I know the payout was fat.
You should disown your dad, you little shit, one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father, screamed another.
Dude, the leftists absolutely take the Constitution and wipe their ass with it. It's another thing of they think it works against you because you care about it, so they'll use it against you. That's why they bring it up. They don't give a fuck about the Constitution. They rewrite that shit every chance they get.
These women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies,
they're mentally ill, and they're everywhere. That's the issue.
It is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
Statistical fact means, in this case, most is a majority, so 51% or greater are far left. I'm sure you can find some statistics that say so. I'm sure you can find some statistics that don't. I'm not going to argue this. You can cite a million different sources, and then I have to dive into each single one and see who's writing it. Are they being paid? Is it biased? What's their sample method? What data did they include? Which data did they purposely exclude? You can lie with statistics really fucking easily. I have a degree in nuclear engineering. You can try to play these games with me, but I know how to look at numbers better than most anyone else. So, good luck.
After Charlie died, one of his friends and one of our senior White House staffers had left-leaning operatives in his neighborhood passing out leaflets telling people what he looked like and where he lived, encouraging neighbors to harass him or, God forbid, to do worse. While he was mourning his dead friend, he and his wife had to worry about the political terrorists drawing a big target on the home he shares with his young children.
And they're drawing a target on his wife, too. Another popular Twitter trend is saying that his wife has infinitely more hate in her eyes than Kirk did, which they just killed Kirk for his hate if you don't remember what's happening on social media. So the implication is, go kill Kirk's wife now. this either person, I'm not giving people good faith arguments. I don't want to say it's an intentional idiot. I want to say it's someone who purposely knows what they're saying, trying to encourage violence because they don't want to stop. They want it to get worse and worse and worse. They want you to be fearful to say anything, and they will keep intimidating you until they've won. And I won't be intimidated.
Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it. We can thank God that most Democrats don't share these attitudes, and I do, while acknowledging that something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. Yeah. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination.
So please tell me we're going to reopen the mental institutes. Please, man, this is the perfect follow-up line right now. I beg of you.
And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree.
Yeah, you say mean words mean I get to kill you because it's literally you're dealing with people that have the intelligence of fucking toddlers. They view words as literal violence for some reason.
Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer, and how do they reward us?
I'm not surprised. I'm really hoping his call to action now is not to pay taxes. You know, that's also cool.
By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years.
No, they're just using it more effectively, I'd say. They're using the propaganda machine to pay themselves off. They put politicians in positions of power where they're granting a lot of grants or a lot of free money to news organizations, and they create leftist news organizations that then hire these politicians after their career ends, and you create a self-sustaining cycle. It's like what weapon industry does with Republicans. After you serve as a senator, you get hired on to like fucking Halliburton or some crazy-ass war company. It's the same thing. Leftists just do it for the news orgs. They reward themselves.
I'm desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
True. So what are we doing?
Now, our government, you heard me talk to Stephen Miller about this, will be working very hard to do exactly that in the months to come. We're not always going to get it right. We will sometimes move.
Please don't be like the fucking Patriot Act Part 2. No, don't be something like that. No.
More slowly than you would like. We will sometimes move more slowly than I want us to. But I promise you that we will explore every option to bring real unity to our country and stop those who would kill their fellow Americans because they don't like what they say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's morally apprehensible. This is the issue I've been worried about. We need action from leadership, but leadership here could make a big they could make a big mistake, and it's going to have some terrible repercussions. Like Patriot Act 2.0, where basically the government can spy on you 24/7. They're already spying on you 24/7, but people are still being assassinated, so clearly it isn't working. But you've still lost all rights to privacy. Oh, also, they're not supposed to delete your information if they're going to try you for it, but then they'll also delete the information that's kind of bad against them in the court of law. Like, there's a lot of crazy shit that's happened because of the Patriot Act, and I have a feeling it's going to get worse. But it's me not being wishful. It's me being a little nihilistic, I'll say. I want to hope that Trump does something to rein in the propaganda machines from taxpayer funds at the very least. If you're going to be saying this batshit crazy stuff, you better be fully either running on ads or donations. I don't want a single one of my fucking taxpayer dollars to go to some propaganda machine to tell me why we should send money to lesbian butt sex in South America to teach lesbians how to have butt sex. Like, that was the crazy shit those NGOs were doing that USAID exposed. I don't want my taxpayer dollars to go to anything like that. I'd rather give it to the homeless people. I'd rather give it to the veterans. I'd rather give it to help maybe fucking people that are suffering and need like mental help. That would be way better. But I can't even get that because I have leftists that want to scam every fucking dollar out of my penny or every dollar out of my paycheck to send to some random bullshit in a foreign country.
But you have a role too. Civil society, Charlie understood this well, is not just something that flows from the government. It flows from each and every one of us. It flows from all of us. So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence.
He said, call their employer. Cancel culture's back, baby. I thought Elon Musk was the head of it. We've got the vice president in here, too. Let's fucking go.
Violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of political assassination. Get involved. Get involved.
No, they're openly celebrating as a form of intimidation. It's not accidental. They know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, they're too retarded for their own good. Either way, I feel no pity.
Get involved. It's the best way to honor Charlie's legacy. Start a chapter of TPUSA or get involved in the one that already exists.
I saw a report that there were over 30,000 requests for new chapters of Turning Point USA this morning. Turning Point USA announced it, so. But this is going to turn a lot more people Republican by a long shot. If you're a moderate Democrat and you see them openly cheering for someone like Charlie Kirk to die and you even agreed on a single thing, you're probably assuming they'd call you a Nazi for it, and you're assuming right.
If you're older, volunteer for your local party, write an op-ed in your local paper, run for office. I can't promise you this is going to be easy.
Nope.
I can't promise you that all of us will avoid Charlie's fate. I can't promise you that I will avoid Charlie's fate.
Damn.
But the best way to honor him is to shine the light of truth like a torch in the very darkest places.
It's a good speech.
Go do it. We owe it to our friend to ensure that his killer is not just prosecuted but punished. And the worst punishment is not the death penalty, but the knowledge that Charlie's mission continues after he's gone.
Nothing would make them feel worse than realizing it's rallied more people against their cause. Exactly right.
St. Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians to put on the full armor of God. Let all of us put on that armor and commit ourselves to that cause for which Charlie gave his life, to rebuild a united state of America, and to do it by telling the truth.
Not a bad speech by Vance. I do like Vance, and I've been waiting for a decent speech from leadership. I know Trump's kind of talked about Charlie Kirk, but I feel like this is more of a sit down, and this is what I've been waiting for from leadership. But I say waiting for. It's good, but I don't think it's enough. Something needs to happen here. Something that's decisive with social media, cracking down and tracking down these radical lunatic leftists that are openly calling for death threats, and the government publicly trying them and either finding them too mentally insane to stand trial or putting them in jail for terroristic threats. Either or works for me. This is crazy. It's political intimidation, and it's from a specific party, and acting like it isn't right now is wild. I know a lot of people are going to say, but there's violence on both sides. I don't really know what to tell you. Was Obama assassinated a few days ago? If you want to preach both sides are evil, that's fine. But when someone that was on the right was blatantly assassinated by a dude on the left with a trans furry lover, let's be real. It's probably the radicalization on the left that actually has the issue right now. Considering not only was Charlie Kirk killed, you then had open calls and cheers for his death. That is the issue that is the main issue here, is how many people are basically saying, God, I wish I could have done it. Or openly cheering for it and advocating it. Thank you very much. That's all I have time for today. Hope you have a wonderful time. I'll catch you in the next video. If you like it, feel free to like it, comment down below, or subscribe. I'll see you next time. But until then, later.